Motherfucking goddamn damn it!
So we decided to try the street stocks again, this time at a little tiny oval track. We qualified second place with a 14.7, 1/10 separating the top four, so hopefully it will be a close fought battle. This is our first race on this track, so not too sure how things are going to plan out. Feeling good about it though. In the middle of the pack, car number 11 runs into somebody and then backs into somebody, really only taking himself out there. We continue to pull away in front. Car number 18 behind us pit maneuvers this guy, then falls down the track, runs into this guy, and then some guy comes from behind him. So a lot of damage and carnage already. That was all on the first lap, and this is a 40 lap race, so we have a long way to go. And I realized pretty early it was going to turn into more of a trying to avoid carnage. By lap 2, we've already caught up to number 11. This guy number 4 is pulling across the track. P2 then runs into the back of number 11, sending him into the wall to join number 4, and then we continue on our way. So that did open up a little bit of a gap between myself and P2, splitting the difference of those two guys and then cutting underneath car number 17 here. Taking a look, a couple cars ahead of us, number 3 and number 7 go into each other. Number 2 ends up getting clipped by him as he's rejoining the track, and then 2 tries to rejoin in the middle of a field. So the carnage continues, and at this point there are some people like down 30 laps, and we're on the 4th or 5th lap. I see this massive group ahead of us, and I'm trying to navigate what the best way to get through here would be while keeping my car in one piece. Up ahead, I think number 4 clips the guy on the outside. They both spin, collect number 3 there, and we managed to slip through there basically with no damage. We did get a little bit of damage. There is P2, just to give you a visual representation of the difference. Catching up to car number 6 here, and he's going to slide out, get right in our way. There really wasn't anywhere we could go. The wall is right beneath us, so decided to take that one head on, and then he gets hit by a ghost from behind us, and then that guy disappears. So a lot of spooky things happening. Coming around much later, and the guy who we ran into head-on cuts across the track in front of us, runs into us, and then cuts back across the track to try and get back in front of us. We managed to avoid that narrowly, and I believe that is the last we will see of him. At this point, P2 is right on my tail, right behind me, and we are only halfway through the race. We have 20 laps left to go. Car number 12 here doesn't get the best exit. We get caught kind of behind him, looking to tuck underneath him on this corner, and once again, somebody's just going to disappear, and then looks like he ground smashed after that. 12 is then going to blow his engine, run into the wall, cut back across, and exposing a T66 turbo with NOS and a Motec system exhaust. Anyway, P2 had to swerve out of his way to avoid that, so we get a little bit bigger and more comfortable of a gap for us for the last 10 or so laps. Coming up to number 17, go flying around the outside of him, somebody else parked on the inside, and that is the current gap at this point with, I think there's 3 more laps to go at this point, so we're really just running a pretty clean race at this point. I mean, the grid has basically narrowed down to about 5 cars. We catch up with this big group here, and we're trying not to lose too much time and hopefully not get into an incident, which is really the big danger here. Trying to sling it up the inside of this monster car. Number 3 ahead goes wide, so we tuck onto the inside, and with 1 lap left, we're just going to drive pretty safely, coming across the line for what will be our first win in our first street stock oval race. Here are the results. First place, we gained 0.06 safety rating, and if you want to see the gap, which is really the only interesting thing on this result sheet, 3 seconds to the guy behind, so clean race from him, all the way down to 40 laps from the people at the back. Next race, here we go. Car number 8 is revving his engine on the starting grid till it blows up.
Uh-oh. You got to go around the bus. He exploded.
With the help from number 16, number 3 successfully navigates that situation and gets back to the grid. We are starting P17 out of 18 people, so we've got 1 car behind us, and you'll see him right there in the back. It was that helpful guy from the beginning. Getting a pretty good launch here as it goes green, hitting a nice little punt to pass on number 17, except without the second part. It was just the first part, just a punt. We do get around car number 2 there, slipping in front of him to open up our line, hopefully cutting underneath number 17 here. Someone is in reverse ahead of us, so we're going to take a look at how we got there. Number 11 pit maneuvers 6 into the wall, 18 takes him out, then gets spun around sideways. We end up getting through there with a bit of damage, running our front right tire into that guy. and then they finish each other off in the background there. That moved us up into P9, so 2 laps, and we have jumped from P17 to P9, which is only 4 corners on a track like this, where 1 lap is only 2 corners. Chasing down car number 3 here through a bunch of, I'm not even sure if those are back markers or not, but we eventually get up onto his tail, running into the wall there, looking to nip underneath him here, and we get it just in time, hoping to get that drive down, maintain the inside here, as well as maintain a high enough minimum speed to keep us in front. Successfully do that, and our attention is now turned towards car number 13, who is in front of us, taking a really early apex there for him. So we're going to dive to a later one, get a better run out of that corner, and take a narrower line into the next one to help maintain our position. We do get the drive out in time, moving ahead of him. He dives almost underneath us, but not quite. We realize he's there and kind of stay a little bit higher, and that actually allows us to get the drive down earlier, so we maintain our position there, solidifying our spot in front of car number 13. Looking up ahead, there is a lot of back markers. Car number 4 is the only one I'm really focused on for position, and I believe that will give me P5. So we're looking to get that position, but he was pretty fast around these corners, especially managing having somebody on his outside like that. However, I'm going to be able to take full advantage of having the entire track to myself, and on this occasion you can see he doesn't even dive that low, so he was really good at maintaining a high speed. When off of the optimal line, it felt like we went around for quite a few laps with me kind of chasing him down and him successfully keeping me behind him. However, the pressure was going to give in at some point, and right here you will see him just initiate a little bit too much of a slide, go into the wall down below, and we will get that position. Luckily for him, it didn't seem to cause too much damage, so he continued racing. Forced narrow by the car on our outside, and car number 17 is on our inside, so we have to kind of navigate that in an interesting way. Catching up to this blue and yellow car, and we are going to successfully commit both parts of the punt to pass here. The punt has been committed, and on the next corner, we will achieve the pass as well. So I feel like that is a big part of becoming an oval racer, and I feel proud to have that now under my belt and out of the way. Continuing forward, that Oreo car up ahead, that blue guy, is the one for P4 we're looking at. This monster car, I'm not sure what he was doing, runs into that guy and then just parks it on the middle of the track. You see both of them pulled over to the side there. That does slow down a lot of people, including the Oreo car. You can see the gap coming down pretty quickly, and that is P4, so we are fighting for that position there. He runs into the wall up ahead, and we're going to try and navigate around car number 15 here without losing too much time. Thankfully, it doesn't look like Oreo is having the best time. We do find a way to navigate just underneath 15 there. It's going to give us a narrow entry to the next corner, but sometimes that's what you have to sacrifice to gain track position, and in this case we do. Oreo takes a very early apex, getting on the gas, I would say too early, and losing time on that exit. Same thing on that same corner on the next lap as we inch ever closer as the laps pass by, and he begins to just about miss the apex completely at this point. We're trying to get as low as we can, get that drive down, and you can see the gap coming down. Even if it's just by maybe a tenth each lap, it builds up over the course of the race. I'm not sure where it happened, but somewhere around this point, car number 3 or P3, excuse me, wrecks out. So Oreo now takes a podium position with about 10 or 11 laps left, and I'm hoping that I can take that from him before the race ends. We continue to take our lines, starting very high and then cutting down, kind of diving in early, but still looking for a late apex, and it begins to pay off here. We're putting him under pressure, really hoping that we can find a hole to slip in soon, and you can see him defending, moving down to the bottom early. We finally get alongside of him, make a little bit of contact, but nothing too dramatic, and I think that just happens in this type of racing sometimes, using the apron to our advantage, getting that drive down, and we will successfully pass him. Car number 17 up ahead, and car number 1, I'm hoping, don't cause too much trouble for me. Car number 12 is parked on the track. I go low. Oreo gets hit by him as he slightly pulls forward into his way, and 17 slides out as well. We manage to stay on track without making contact with car number 1 there, and then taking a narrow line to put ourselves in a position to make this pass happen, riding the apron with 2 tires for most of that turn, and we're going to slip in front of him with just a few laps to go. Not that that mattered for position, but just to continue to keep the Oreo car away from us. Number 11 parked sideways on the track there, and it's a white flag lap. So this is our last lap, diving to the inside. No dramatics, no traffic. It's a pretty safe victory lap, and we come across the line for a P3, starting in P17, and of course I have to get one more 4 times. So here are the results. We gained 0.15 safety rating from that somehow, with our fastest lap just being a 10th behind the fastest guy.